started. So, welcome everyone. It's so good to see you all this morning. For those of you who don't know, my name is Sammy. I am the Events and Education Coordinator at Goosefoot. So I get to teach these workshops, get to work pretty closely to help our business community however Goosefoot can. I run all of our social media platforms and I do a lot of this on the side as well. So I'm pretty familiar with how Facebook works. For those of you who have not yet been to a workshop, this is a little different than a Zoom meeting. I cannot see or hear you. You can only see or hear me. So in order to answer any questions you might have or any comments you want to share, please use the chat feature. I have it right here next to me so I can see what everyone is saying. As it says it on the screen here, please make sure to change your chat options to all panelists and attendees so everyone can see what you say, not just me. There is also a question and answer function that you're welcome to use as well. It gives me a little pop-up notification when someone has a question, but really use whichever feature you're most comfortable with. I will be answering questions as they come in from both. So please let me know if you guys have any questions. This is a crash course, so we're covering a lot of stuff in only 45 minutes. I do have a full-length 2-hour intro to Facebook that gets into even more nitty-gritty. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure which, I had that last Thursday and I accidentally failed to hit record. So I will be holding it again if you're interested in more of this later. Right now I'm looking at Wednesday, May 6th from 6 to 8, but more information from that will go up on our website and our Facebook page. So let's get started. Obviously, the biggest thing with Facebook is there's a pretty big difference between a profile, which is what you have automatically as soon as you create your Facebook account. This has hopefully your name, your face, all of your personal information. But Facebook also allows you to create pages, as I have on the screen here. And I'm actually going to go into Facebook and show you guys how that works. Pages are for business functions, they're for community groups, nonprofits, pretty much anything you could think of that is beyond a single person. It is actually against Facebook's terms of service to use a personal profile for business purposes. This means for sales, for promoting a specific business. So if you are just using your profile for your business, I would really recommend setting up a page. Not only is it within the terms of service of the site, but it also gives you access to a lot of really cool tools that are not available on your personal profile. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and pull Facebook up so you guys can see how we create a page. Facebook makes it very, very easy. So if I'm on my main Facebook feed here, if you go into the top right corner, and actually as I talk about this, I'm gonna go ahead and highlight my mouse. That way you guys can see it a little easier. I'm gonna go into the top right corner here and click on this little drop down arrow. And you can see if I click see more, I can see all of the pages I have. I can also go to manage pages. And then right up here at the top is this lovely little create a page link. As you can see, I manage a lot of pages. You folks will probably not have this many. You probably have one, maybe two, if any. So if you haven't already created your page, you just click create a page. It gives you the option for business or brand. This is going to be the vast majority of you. Community or public figure, as it says here, tends to be politicians or teams or groups or clubs such as Rotary or Lions or something like that. So I'm going to come back over here to business and or brand, and I'm going to click get started. Super easy, just fill out the page name. I'm going to call it post my test page just for now. Then category, pretty much anything you could think of will probably be in here. Whatever your business is, if it's construction, consulting, retail. So as you saw when I started typing retail, the first option was shopping and retail. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and click that. You can go ahead and put in your address. That way it can target people within your area. It can give you tools based on where you're physically located. If you do have to fill out the address, you do not have to publicly share it. When we get into settings later, you can decide to hide your address if you are not actually open to the public. For example, my business, I do a lot of web design and consulting. I do it out of my house. I don't want my clients to know that address unless I decide to give it to them. So I would have to put my address in here, but I wouldn't have to show it on the page. So fill out your information. Apologies for my loud keyboard. And then if you can put a phone number in here, it is completely optional though. Then see right here, this next click box says, don't show my address, only show this business is in the city or state region. So if I wanted to, I could go ahead and click that and I'm gonna hit continue. And then it's gonna ask you for a profile picture and a cover image. If you have those, obviously you can click upload and do it right now. If you do not have these yet, you're still maybe working on building your site, you could also just hit skip. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use Goosefoot's logo for this example. I have so many files, as you guys can see. Yeah, let's use the Hub Gallery logo. For those of you who aren't familiar, the Hub Gallery is the gallery space right inside the Bayview Cash Store. You could add a cover photo. Obviously, you could design something specifically for Facebook, get the right dimensions, make sure it looks good. Or you can also just upload a picture and drag it to the right angle. I have actually made some headers before, so I have them here in my file. I'll click this one just for this example so you guys can see what it looks like. Victoria asked, is the page name the name of the business? Yes, ideally the page name would be the name of the business. If you have, maybe sub-departments and you need to split stuff off, you could get a little bit more creative. For Goosefoot, we have about 3 pages. We have the Goosefoot page, we have the Bayview Corner page, and we have the Front Room Gallery page. Those are all named very explicitly, so no one has to guess, what it's about. It's the name of the place or the business. So ideally, yes, your name of your page would be your business name. That's strange. I don't know why it didn't add the cover considering I did upload it. And it is here, but it didn't save it. So sometimes you might have to do it yourself. If you do pick a picture that is not specifically designed to be a header, so maybe it's a little bigger, you can drag to reposition it up and down, and then you could also zoom sometimes. So great, looks wonderful. I'm gonna hit save. The fun thing with cover images, we're actually going to talk about in a bit, but you can do a single photo, you can do a single video, or you can do multiple photos so that it can switch between them. So there's a lot of options there with the cut header, and we're going to get it back into that. But as you can see, we've now set up a page, super simple to do. It's very easy to tell that I'm on my page and not my personal profile. Sorry, my face is in the way, because if I actually went to my profile, I'm having issues reaching it because this bar is in the way. If I went to my personal profile, Sammy, it looks very different than the layout of the page. I don't have those options on the top of the page to get me into settings. I have very different settings on the side here. And as you can see, my cover photo is actually larger in a profile than it is on a page. So these are very different layouts, very, very different functions. As you saw down here, it popped up walking through me options such as inviting people to like the page, filling out the about section. I would follow those prompts. They are very helpful in getting your page set up perfectly. So you've got your page set up. Now what do you do? The biggest thing with setup is once again, your profile is for personal use, your page is for business use. When you get over 100 likes, you can claim a custom URL. So it will be facebook.com/yourbusiness Whereas when you first start up the page, as you can see, this is my URL. It's facebook.com/, the page name, post my test page, and then this huge string of numbers. This doesn't look nice. It's harder to share. Unfortunately, you are stuck with it until you get up over 100 likes. But once you do, you can get it to change to something like this, where it's facebook.com/Goosefoot Community Fund. So you can get more specific with that. As you can see here, gives me this option right here below. Let me turn my mouse back on so I can make sure you guys can see it. It gives me the create page at username right here below my page name. If I click on that, I can change it to whatever I need to. So post my test page. It's not taken, so great, create username. And we're good to go. So now I have a much easier, better way to look at the URL. Quinn asked, how do you get Facebook to change your URL? Do they automatically do that after 100 likes? No, you have to do it just like I did right now, where you click either, if you haven't set it up, you click create it right here under the name of your thing. Or if you already have it and you want to change it to something else, you're going to want to go into the about section. And then the first general section here gives you username. You can change it to edit right now. So I could change that at any time if I needed to. Poking around and doing this to show you guys, it does actually look like Facebook has lifted the 100 follower requirement. So you guys could get your custom URL right now. As soon as you start your page, no matter how many followers you have. So you don't have to wait to 100. You could do it right now. Again, you can either reach that right underneath your page name on the left side if you haven't changed it already, or if you would like to change it to something else, you could do it on the about section, and the first main section is general. You just hit edit next to username. So make sure you claim that custom URL. It looks a lot better than it does without it. So make sure you do that, and it's free and it's easy. Make sure you fill out your entire about section. As you can see, they give me a lot of spaces to fill in. I can edit business details such as what the price range I fall into. I can add a start date. I can add categories of what kind of business it is. Do I sell goods or services, or does it operate a corporate office or headquarters? If none of that is for you, obviously leave it blank. Make sure you fill out the contact information, because this is how people are going to get a hold of you. Obviously, if you don't want people to have a particular option, you don't like emails, don't put your email in there or your phone number or whatever. But if you want people to be able to reach you, which hopefully you would prefer to as having a business, you've got to give it to them. So go ahead and add that here. You can also add other accounts. So if you have other pages, or you can also integrate your Instagram profile with your Facebook page. Make sure you fill out the about information. What does your business do? What is its purpose? If you're a restaurant, what's your menu like? If you have really important people on your team that are helping manage the page, you can add them here and tell your story. Add pictures, add a short description. This is where search engines get their search results. So if someone is searching for a custom carpenter on Whidbey Island, the only way Facebook or Google would show them your Facebook page is if somewhere in this about section you had, I am a custom carpenter located on Whidbey Island. You have to tell people what you are for them to be able to find you. So both in searching Facebook and in searching the broader internet, Facebook does incredibly well in search results. It's always really highly listed, sometimes even before your own website, depending on how you've got your website set up. Give the search engines the information that they can use to find your page. Julia asked, is there a way to hold this before going live? Unfortunately, there's not really. As soon as you set up your username or your page name, and your profile picture and cover photo, it automatically creates the page. However, you can fill all of this out before you invite anybody to like the page. So it is live technically, but functionally it's not live because nobody knows to even be looking for it. So unfortunately, no, they don't really have a draft mode, but they do let you invite people at any time. And it's a little hard for people to find your page unless you tell them where it is. So you can fill this out at any time. And the nice thing is also, once you fill in certain information, nothing is set in stone. You can change everything. You can change your category, your name, all of the about section. You can change that at any time. So don't be afraid of this. Just give it a whirl. Obviously, you could check out other pages you like and see what they do in their sections to see if that's something you could imitate. If I'm going to go to the Goosefoot page, just to give you guys an example, and if I go to the About section, I've pretty thoroughly filled out this section. We've got our phone number, we've got our category, name, username, we've got our hours. I've got our mission in here, contact information. I have almost all of these sections filled out except for Impressum because we don't have one, and products because again, we don't have one, and menu because we don't have one. But everything else, I have our categories here. I have the about section, and I have a good story written up with pictures and nice complete story. I could make this really long if I wanted to, or I could keep it nice and short. A lot of fun tools in here. Make sure you use it. If you own the page, does it link to your contacts on your personal page? No, it does not. Unless you add yourself here as a team member, people cannot automatically see, your personal profile page with any of your personal information or contact information. And in fact, you have to have a personal profile to access Facebook, but you can have multiple profiles on a single page. Goosefoot's a great example. There's probably me and Marion that are running it, maybe somebody else. I think Sandy is as well. So there's multiple of us on here, but I don't have any of us listed here. I could if I wanted to, but if anybody's really private, you can always secure your own privacy settings on your personal profile so that only friends or friends of friends can see that you exist and they can see any of your content. And so that way you're not even searchable, but you still have an access point to get into Facebook. My old boss at my last job, he was a very private person. He did not like a big company like Facebook having his personal data. So he actually had a fake profile with a fake name and a fake picture and everything. And it was also really privately locked down. It was purely so that he could log into Facebook and access our business page. So, like I said before, make sure you fill out your entire about section. This is how people find out about your page and your business. So I'm going to go back to our test page for now and back to the slide. As you can see here, make sure you use the call to action button. So every single page has this button here. You can set it up to whatever you want people to do most. Do you want them to, book with you, contact you, learn more about your business, shop with you, or download your app or play your game? Unfortunately, you have to choose from one of these 5 options, but once you do, all you do is click on it, and then you can choose what you actually want it to say. So, sign up, call now, send message, WhatsApp. Same with shop. You want, shop now or see offers, watch video or learn more, book with you. Obviously just gives you the book now option. But when you click on one of these options, it gives you the option to go ahead and add either a website link, or sometimes these will be a little customized depending on what you picked. If I picked one of the contact options, it would offer me to open up Messenger or something like that. So think about what you want people to do the most and give it to them right here on this button that is right below your cover image. So it's right front and center when they come onto your page. To preemptively answer some questions I haven't seen yet, but I do get them in the past. you can only have one call to action button, and you can only choose from one of those options. So get creative, make it work best for you. If you have a nonprofit page rather than a business page like I do, and that was back in the setup when I was picking a category, I picked shopping and retail. I could have picked nonprofit. One of the options this will give you is donate. So there are some page specific options it will give you, but make sure you go ahead and use that. It's prime real estate. It's a really eye-catching button, and it would be a shame to just leave it blank. If somebody came to your page and they were not obviously an administrator of the page, they were just visiting the page, and you hadn't set this would just be blank. There would be nothing here. So please use it. It's really good tool and right in front and prominent. You can also use your cover photo, that giant photo that's at the top of your page. That should function for you as a billboard. You should advertise the most important information, and you should change it regularly. One of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of businesses do is their cover photo is just, a picture of their building, the outside of their building, which is really boring, and it's wasting such great space. Some good cover photo options. Obviously, these do take some editing and some design work, but tell people, are you running a giveaway? Do you have a certain kind of special going on? Even if you don't have anything specific going on, you can still make a nice billboard looking piece that advertises what your business is about and what you do in a nice, clear, easy to understand way that doesn't get buried in the about section that a lot of people don't necessarily go to immediately. Or like Oreo, you can use it to celebrate your customers. You really can do pretty much anything with the cover photo as long as you're within the specific dimensions. And those do change pretty regularly. So I would definitely recommend every time you go to make a cover photo, you look up what the current dimensions are. If you do not have, the tech savviness to make your own cover photo, you can just use a nice picture, maybe change it out seasonally about the area around you or one of your product displays. As I mentioned earlier, you can also do videos or you can do slideshows. The I Love Langley page is great with slideshows. I think the person who runs it just has a hard time picking just one photo to show off, so she picks multiple, and you can transition between them. So, get creative with this. If you really don't have the skill, there is a tool called canva.com. There are free options. They make it very easy to design your own images, both for a cover photo, for post graphics, anything like that. You can get very customized and very pretty. You can use their layouts and themes that they have available, and you can make something that is very specific to your business. So to recap on the cover photos, don't be lazy and just put the picture of the front of your building. Use it as a billboard space to really advertise who you are or what's going on right now or what people really need to know. As you saw on the Goosefoot page, our cover photo right now is Earth and Ocean Month because it is Earth and Ocean Month. So change it out regularly. Yes, that was canva.com. I do have it in my list of resources at the end of this as well, in case you didn't quite get that. So cover photos are fun. Profile pictures, on the other hand, need to be very simple. When you are looking on Facebook on the phone, for example, which a lot of people do nowadays, profile pictures are about this big. That is very difficult to distinguish if you have a lot of things going on. If it's a very big picture, such as, the front of your building, it's hard to see what that is at that small of a size. So it must be distinguishable from a distance at a small size. The best profile picture is honestly your logo, or if you don't have a logo, it could be your main product, or if your business is all about you as a person. I know Quinn is in here. Quinn, people know your business because of you. In those kind of instances, you could definitely use your face as your profile picture. But if you have a logo, you should use that. On logos, you should rarely, on profile pictures, you should rarely, if ever, change them. As I kind of alluded to earlier, your profile picture is the face of your business. It's what people are used to seeing when they see your content. There's a lot of people on the internet that never even read the page name. They just look at the profile picture and then read the content, and that's how they associate it. If you regularly change your profile picture, nobody's going to know who you are. Think about if any point in your life you maybe drastically changed your hairstyle and people didn't recognize you. That's the same thing with profile pictures. Whatever you pick, that should just be your picture all the time, unless you go through some drastic rebranding or something, and you completely change your logo. There's good ways to do that strategy where you can, regularly phase it in over time. But most of the time, whatever your profile picture is, that should be what it stays. There's nothing stopping you from changing it. There's no mechanics on Facebook that, prevent you from changing it regularly. But for your own success, for reaching your customers, you should change it as little as possible. So, types of posts. Obviously, you could post about anything in the world on Facebook, but just to give you some maybe ideas and inspiration, you can occasionally do sales posts. This is talking about, this product is on sale, or, everything is 10% off, whatever, anything that the entire function, the entire content of the post is just about making sales. You can do this occasionally, but I will warn you, nobody goes online to be sold at. That's just not what we're there for. We are there to connect with people. We're there to learn new things. We're there to get entertained or be distracted. So if your page is just constantly sales in the face over and over and over, people are going to unfollow you pretty quickly. So use sales posts occasionally. Obviously, this is your business. You do need to make money, but that should come with a deep and profound connection with your customers, with showing them how you impact their life and why they should want to work with you, rather than just, hey, this is $5, you should buy it. You can make interactive posts. So these are the posts where you encourage people to comment on the post or vote in a poll or add their own stories to the post. You are actively calling for and inviting people to get engaged. You can share user-generated content. So if other people took a picture of your business or product or made a video or talked about it in some way, you can ask them quick permission, and then you can share that to your own page. One of Bayview Corner's most popular posts this last 4 months or so was back when it snowed. A woman went onto the campus and she took some very pretty snow-covered pictures. She spoke very highly of the space, and I shared that to our page, and a lot of other people liked it and picked up on it. The person who had made the picture was very happy that she got, the boost and the attention. And I didn't have to create a post that day. I just had to share hers. So user-generated content, if you can encourage people to make it, is a very win-win situation. You can also do behind the scenes content. So show people, how stocking works, or how you make your decisions, or who you talk to, or how your, employees interact. People love to know how the sausage is made. They love to know what's going on. They love to feel like they're in on the secret or in on the fun. So don't be afraid to show people behind the curtain. One of the best advice I saw is it is absolutely okay to talk about the good and the bad, but maybe avoid the ugly. So that means obviously share things when things are great. It is absolutely okay to share things when they're not so great too. It's okay to say, hey, we're having a rough time right now, or, I'm a little worried about our business, but don't go off on these big long creeds about, this person specifically slighted us or everybody's out to get us, because that is very much not a good face for your business, and people will leave pretty quickly. But if you just stick to the good and the bad, people will feel like they have a real relationship with you, and they will be more dedicated and loyal to you. So don't cover everything up. You can absolutely show behind the scenes as you feel comfortable. You can also do product use suggestions. So if you have a product that could be used in a really intriguing way, some of the most popular posts I've seen get shared over and over are videos such as, 50 creative ways to tie a shoe. Um, Oreo, all of their posts aren't just, here's the new flavor of Oreo over and over again. They're games to use Oreos with. So like they've made checkers games that you can use Oreo as the pieces. Or they've shown you how to make an Oreo cake pop. If there is an interesting, unique way someone can use the product, or if you have a product or service that's just maybe a little more complicated and in depth, you can show people how to use that as well. One of my clients is a hair salon. I made a screen capture video where I just recorded my screen like I am now, and I showed people how to use the booking feature because her clientele was primarily older and they didn't know how to book online, even though it was very easy. So that's a great kind of a post you can make. You can definitely do cross promotion kind of content. So even though it is your page and your business, it doesn't have to be about you all the time. You can definitely talk about other businesses that you work closely with, or even just ones that you personally like and admire. Uh, the saying goes, a rising tide lifts all boats. That is very true for small business communities on social media as well. The more we talk about each other, the more we refer people to each other and support one another, the better we all do. And especially in a place like Whidbey Island, people don't come here just for one specific thing. They come here to, attend a show, and while they're here, they'll walk down Main Street and shop, or they'll go out to dinner. People do a lot of different things. Even locals, when they get out, they do multiple things at the same time. They don't just do one thing and then go home. So it is absolutely okay to talk about other businesses and maybe encourage them to talk about you as well. It really helps show that we are a strengthened community and it is not all about us all the time. You can share about events. If you run any sort of events, I can probably get at least 5 posts out of a single event. I've got the save the date for when I'm first announcing that it's going to be a thing. I've got reminder posts, maybe a week before, maybe the day of. And then I have pictures during the event showing off, look how fun it is. You should come and join us. And then I have at least one post afterwards with the wrap up of all of the good pictures I took, all of the stories, and thanking everyone for coming. If you are doing an event that's even bigger, maybe you have bands coming, or you have sponsors that you need to promote, or you're giving away prizes, those are even more posts around this event that people are definitely interested in. So don't be afraid to talk about your event. And even if you're not running the event, say you're going to a trade show when everything calms down and we can go places again, you can talk about the prep work of going too. You can, show your prep work and how you're packing up and all the materials you're preparing. You can show building your booth or arriving at the hotel if you're just attending it. You can show pictures of the people you're networking with and enjoying, and then you can share your thoughts afterwards. So don't be afraid to talk about the events you go to. You can also definitely talk about personal things. If you saw a super cute dog that day, definitely share it. People love content like that. If there's a really pretty sunset outside of your building, take a picture of that. If you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed and uncertain in these times, it is okay to talk about that, because guess what? Everyone else is too. And it just makes you feel more relatable, more human, and more open and welcoming to everybody. So don't be afraid to talk about the personal as well. Obviously, This is definitely up to you. Some businesses, your brand is just definitely more casual and personable. Some of you, you're a little more formal. So depends on what you need, but don't put a all holds bar on it. It is okay to talk about yourself occasionally, because as a small business and not a corporation, you are your business. Like it's you. And so people aren't, they don't really trust brands. They don't trust big companies because it's this big faceless conglomeration. But you're a small business. You are a person, and people care about that person. So don't be afraid to give them a little bit of insight to it. You can also share stories. So if somebody emailed you and said, "Oh my God, this happened with your product," or "You changed my life because of this, this, and that," or "I really saw my kid improving after I worked with you," ask them if you can share that. Get a video of them saying it if you can, or even just copy and paste the message they sent you. Or if you have a story, maybe you interacted with someone or you walked down the street and saw something. Nowadays, things are hard and they're scary, but there's a lot of inspirational things going on. A lot of people are stepping up to help each other and their community and their local businesses. Share those stories because it gives everybody more hope and it makes everybody feel a little bit better in these current times. And then lastly, obviously a type of post is the viral content. These are your funny pictures and videos or your inspirational stuff, the stuff that everybody is sharing. You can share that content to your page as well if it's applicable to your brand or your business's personality. Don't rely too heavily on this though. If all you ever share is memes and viral videos, you're going to get really boring and really generic pretty quickly. There are already pages dedicated solely to doing that. Your page does not need to be it. Use it occasionally if it genuinely made you laugh, if you think it'll apply to your customers, but don't lean on it too heavily. So if you guys have any specific questions about posts, I'm happy to answer them, but hopefully I gave you guys some good ideas for posts you could run with. Obviously, a couple more tips on posts. Don't be afraid to repost or recycle popular content. If you posted something and it got tons of likes and shares and views, quarter of the year down the road, half a year down the road, don't be afraid to post it or share it again. Chances are people forgot about it, or maybe they never saw it in the first place. You get new followers all the time. And even if you don't, Facebook's algorithms are weird and they decide what people should see when, and not everyone who follows your page sees all of your content. So don't be afraid to share it again so that more people can see it at a different time. You also need to experiment with the types of content and when you post it. Different things work for different people. One of the most common questions I get from businesses is, when is the best time to post? And my answer is, I don't know. When is your audience online? If you're primarily a business to business organization, obviously Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 is the best time because that's when most people are working. If you're trying to reach teenagers, that's going to be a very different time than if you're trying to reach retired folks. People have different schedules. They have different preferences for when they get online. A lot of that is contained in your analytics, which unfortunately, as we have about 5 minutes left, I don't have time to talk about analytics today, but I do talk about that in the advanced Facebook class and in the intro class a little bit, which I will hold again later. But post when your fans are online. Look at your analytics. It tells you when people are online and looking. But even if you are just starting out and you don't have that data yet and you don't know how to read it, just try different things. Post at 10, see how that does. Post at 2, see how that does. Post at 8 p.m. and see how that does. It's up to you to experiment and figure out what kind of content people respond to, and also when is the best time to post. You got to mix it up and you got to try a lot of different things. On that note, though, I just said, post at 8 p.m. Who wants to still be working on their business at 8 p.m.? I mean, I do, but most people don't. Most people want to have set hours and be done. But that doesn't mean you have to be online when you post. You can schedule posts as well. So let me show you how to do that really quickly, because Facebook did make it a little more complicated in the last 6 months. If you are on your page, as I mentioned earlier, you have this nice navigation top bar here. I'm going to click Publishing Tools, and this will give you default to a list of all of your published posts. But as you can see, the next option down is scheduled posts. So if you go into here, I don't have any scheduled right now. Obviously, I just created this page, but I can click this blue create button. And now it gives me what looks like the normal post creator, where I can type whatever I need to. I could pick a colored background if I want to. I can add a photo or video. Let's pick something fun. Come on. Yeah, I got some would-be donuts pictures. We'll pick, I don't know, this one just for funsies. And then we'll say something. Now, instead of post, as you can see right here, the blue bar now instead says schedule post. So if you schedule the post, it'll give you suggested times. Obviously, my page is brand new, so it doesn't have any suggestions, but this pulls from that analytic data I was talking about earlier. So you could go with suggested time if it gives you that option. Or you can set up a custom time. So you can pick any date, and there's really no limit to how far out you could go. And you can pick specific times as well. So that is a really great tool. I highly recommend using it, so that instead of being on Facebook constantly, you can be on it during a specific time. You can sit down, give it focus, create some really good posts, and schedule them out for later, so that you don't have to keep coming back and doing it over and over. So that is Facebook scheduling post. There is also some cool outside tools I'll show you on the last slide. Overall, with your content, focus on quality over quantity. You'll see if you search online, how often should I post, that you'll see your advice of posting like 6 times a day, 10 times a day. That is really excessive around here. People will unfollow you because you'll just be bombarding their feeds. If you can swing it, obviously you could post more frequently when things are more stable and standard. I tend to post twice a day on Goosefoots and once a day on the Bayview Corner page. But even if you can only post once a week, as long as that's really good, engaging, interesting, worthwhile content, I'm fine with you posting once a week. Just do it regularly, whatever that regular looks like for you, and make sure it's good content, not just junk because you needed to get something and I guess this is good enough. Victoria asks, I'd been using 1 or 2 times a month constant contact for my news. If I'm going to be active on Facebook, should I cancel that? No, you can definitely share your constant contact posts on Facebook as well. You can either just add to that, so add other things around it, maybe break some of the news you share up into smaller posts for people who don't like to read your whole newsletter. But you can absolutely use sharing your constant contact post on your social media as well. That's totally fine. If you are making a post that links to something, be it your website or a specific a news article or product, when you post the link, most links are not very attractive. They're a really big jumbled, of sorry, I accidentally closed my question and answer window. They're a big jumble of numbers and letters and symbols. So instead of posting that, when you go to make a post, I'm gonna leave this page. Say I wanted to link to, I don't know, we're gonna go to this article and say I wanted to post that. As you can see, this link is really ugly to look at. It's not appealing. People are gonna scroll right on past this post. So what I'm going to do is, once I've pasted it, Facebook automatically goes through and it pulls this gray box that will link directly to the original link. and then a nice picture that it'll pull from the page. Once this has popped up, you can delete this URL and now you can type whatever you want. And it stays. So go ahead and use links. I'm a really big fan of them, but don't leave them in your post. Post the link, get the content, and then get out. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. If you have a really important post that you want everybody to see, be it a job or really FAQs or something, a big announcement, and you always want it to be the first thing people see when they come to your page, whether they are, sorry, my brain just blanked. No matter how often you've posted since then, you always want this to be the first thing you see. So super simple. All you have to do, we're going to leave our test page to a page where I actually have content. And say I wanted, let's see, let me scroll down a little bit. Maybe the information about our grants. I want this to be the first page ever, first post anybody who comes to my page sees, no matter what else I have posted since. All I have to do is go up to these 3 little dots in the top corner of the post. You click on that. The second option is pin to top of page. So now anytime somebody comes to my feed, that will be the first post they see, no matter how often I have posted since. You can only have one pinned post though, so you can't do multiple. If you pin a new post, it will automatically get rid of the old post that you pinned. Not get rid of it, will still be on your feed, but it'll go back to the regular chronological order that it should be in. So you can only have one, but if you have something that is important enough, you can absolutely pin it. You do not have to have a pinned post though. If everything is equally important to everybody, you can just let your feed run as normal. So that's some information on posts. I know we're over time, so here's some quick tools that will help you. Buffer or Hootsuite, they both do similar functions. They are outside tools that help you manage your social media feeds. So you can schedule posts very easily through Buffer or Hootsuite. It's even easier than the Facebook tool I just showed you. You can see all of your social media accounts on one web page. So instead of logging into Facebook and then logging into Instagram and logging into Twitter, you can see them all in one feed that you just have to click between tabs on. And you can also, the really nice thing is go ahead and post to all of these pages at the same time. So Instagram is luckily set up. If you make an Instagram post, you can share it to your Facebook page. You can't do that the other way. You can't make a Facebook post and share it to Instagram or literally anything else. So Buffer and Hootsuite are free tools with some paid upgrades as well that allow you to manage all of your platforms and post to all of them at the exact same time. Canva, as we talked about earlier, it's right here. All of these, by the way, you can find them by just adding .com to the end. So buffer.com, canva.com, pixabay.com. It is a design platform. You can make really pretty custom graphics and images for your cover photo or your logo, as Quinn mentioned earlier. Or you can make graphics for specific posts. As you saw when I was scrolling through Goosefit's feed earlier, I had a big graphic about the recordings of these classes. I did not use Canva because I do have design software, but I could have made it in something like Canva. So if you want to make really pretty professional looking custom graphics, but you maybe don't have the skill level, Canva is a great place to start. They make it very simple. Pixabay is a fantastic source for royalty-free images and videos. Anybody can download and use them at any time. Pretty much any term you could ever think of will turn up some sort of picture that you might be able to use. And it's completely free. So it's a great place to get really high quality pictures because high quality pictures on social media are everything. If you need even more options, free pick is another one. They do have a paid option, but there are a lot of free pictures on there as well. You can not only photographs, but you can also get vectors and graphics and design assets if you are doing design stuff. You do need to give those artists credit when you use their content though. So here's some really great tools. I will send these slides around to everybody so you can find these as well. Victoria just asked, okay to use images from Google Images. No, do not use images from Google Images. The vast majority of images that come up in a Google image search term are copyrighted, and you could get in trouble for using them. So avoid Google Images. There is a way to get images on Google that you are allowed to use. So say I was searching for pictures of trees. If I went to images, almost all of these are copyrighted and I could get in trouble for using them. So don't do that. If you're dead set on Google, if you come up here to tools, there's this option here that says usage rights, and I can drop this down to labeled for reuse. And here are the pictures that are left that I can use. Some of them are pretty. There are a lot fewer options before I set this picture though, because as I mentioned, most Google images are copyrighted. So be careful with Google Images. All right, we're about 7 minutes over time. I apologize. There's always a lot to talk about on Facebook, and this is severely cut down from my usual intro to Facebook class, which takes about 2 hours. So again, if you're interested in more Facebook information, I'm going to be reteaching Intro to Facebook so that I can get a video for you guys on Wednesday, May 6th from 6 to 8. That link will be up on our website and our Facebook page very soon. I also am teaching Facebook Advanced. If you feel like you got the basics down and you want more, that class is, I believe, next week. Double check our Facebook and our website for confirmation. But overall, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. But otherwise, have a great day, everybody.